Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be watching some crazy and mysterious TikTok videos. So let's get right into it.
Темная ночь, только пули свистят по степи.
General Bird, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole.
Are people living inside of the Earth? It's true. New information from NASA states that there is a large ocean beneath the Earth's crust, after scientists detected movement below the surface. Around 500 miles below, a large supply of water has been found stored in a rock named ringwoodite. But it gets even crazier. Scientists say that this rock is so huge that it contains 3 times the amount of water on the Earth's surface. This causes
Man, I tell you, it's been a lot of stuff going on the internet about inner Earth and things inside the Earth and people inside the Earth living. Man, what y'all think? I don't know. It could be because they really ain't never went to the middle of the earth. Just like the ocean, they don't know how deep it is. So, man, you never know. What y'all think? Drop your comments below.
many to believe that there is more down there than we originally thought, possibly even civilizations. While the news of this discovery was over 10 years ago, it was never talked about. Is the government hiding this information from us?
31 to 1936, right during the Great Depression. The Hoover Dam was created, forming Lake Mead and the largest reservoir in the entire United States, where it submerged multiple towns, brick and stone buildings, and old world structures. Today we're uncovering the hidden history of the Hoover Dam, the submerged town of St. Thomas, and the bizarre symbolism and technology that suggests that there's much more to this story than what we've been told. When the Hoover Dam was completed, it formed Lake Mead again, the largest reservoir in the entire United States. This project submerged 248 square miles of land. This is equivalent to 158,720 acres gone, and all of it is under 532 feet of water, sinking things that would blow our minds today, exactly like we've shown all over the world, including the town of St.
Man, they go through a lot of stuff just to hide stuff and history from people, man. I don't know why they keep doing that. It's just better for everybody to know what it is so we can actually live a better life.
Thomas in Nevada, where in the 1930s, residents were told to sell their land to the federal government. Most buildings were abandoned or dismantled. Why dismantle a building if you're going to sink it anyway? I think all of us can answer that. These buildings were not built with wood, and they were not built with dirt. They were palaces, and they were from the old world. They did not belong in Nevada at all. The entire town was submerged for decades until something happened recently with record low water levels in this fake lake that they just made. Remember, it's not a natural lake. There was never supposed to be water there. So obviously the water levels are going to go down. And they knew this. And that's why they dismantled these buildings. Because St. Thomas has now reemerged. Today can now walk through the town's ruins. Old roads are now visible. This was one of many buildings, looking mud flooded, of course, and burying a lot of the buildings. And I believe that this is proving that a lot of our map was hit with a lot of water. And this is why we find doors.
That's another thing they always talking about. Like the whole world was washed away or some kind of cataclysmic event or something. Man, it's a lot of signs that you see in the mountains and the Grand Canyon and there's pyramids in the United States. Man, there's a lot of different, telltale signs that there was way advanced, more civilization than what we're living today.
the ground, where you find windows that look straight out into the dirt, unless we dig them out just like we saw in episode 36. So why did St. Thomas, Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, why did they need all these buildings in the 1930s? How many people were even living there? It must have been a few thousand people to need post offices, gas stations, general stores, homes, and churches, including schoolhouses, where they had just 500 people at its peak. And I was told in schools that this was the wild, wild west, where they had shacks and dirt roads. So why the heck do we have buildings that are built with brick and stone, so many of them, that they had to dismantle them before submerging them, because they knew that it would be coming back. And just 500 people occupying the town, this man-made lake is massive, and the Hoover Dam is built with massive underground infrastructure, including tunnels. Of course it has tunnels. It has shafts and chambers, as well as sealed off rooms. It's all blocked off to the public. Dams are a very strange thing, and it's very obvious at this point that they're not just for generating energy or to manage flooding. The Hoover Dam, we're told, had a dedicated ceremony where President Roosevelt gave a speech attended by thousands of people and broadcasted nationally in 1935, featuring two winged figures, two massive bronze statues that still sit at the site today.
Yeah, that right there. Them two figures I've been seeing a lot on TikTok and all over social media about those two gigantic figures at the dam. So, with that kind of symbolism going on, there's no telling what that means because everyone's guessing, but it definitely means something.
Right at the base of the dam's dedication plaza. I mean, we can just look at this for a second. I think anybody with eyes can figure out the symbolism here. I think we all know which group made this one. You can look right at the floor and you will know. Between the winged figures, the compass rose, the celestial star chart, tying the architecture to the
Look at that
stars, this
diagram.
is exactly the kind of ritual that they do all the time. This is clear as day now. Zodiac and astronomical symbols. All of this with the date of September 30th, 1935 at exactly 8:56 p.m. Why that time? Why exactly 8:56 p.m.? Where at this exact time, Jupiter and
Yeah,
Saturn
why?
were both prominent in the sky. Where Saturn, according to this group, is one of the most symbolically loaded planets. And we have talked about this in episode 117, where Saturn is aligned with Jupiter, the supposed king planet. It is interpreted as a cosmic marker of massive shifts in human civilization. This is all in my opinion, and you're free to think whatever you'd like, as always. But we're just getting started, especially when you hear that 96 workers died during the construction, with others saying it was many more. And they just weren't counted, with no memorial or plaque listing their name, stating that they died to make the desert They would bloom. Never set the dam to a symbolic circle that denotes the 25,772-year cycle. Again, a dam doesn't need Thuban, the serpent star, written on the floor in front of it. They were aligning this machine perfectly, using the
all
earth
that-
as its power source.
that
There's
means
something
something.
inside there, and I want to know what it is. An old world technology.
They didn't go through all that for nothing. To be making symbols of serpents and other symbols of like hieroglyphic type of scriptures or what have you. They definitely was doing something.
Something that would blow every single person in the world's mind in a second. This is an old world technology hiding in plain sight. And we know this because we know that a machine needs a source of energy. And you can see how powerful this technology is, just based on the amount of power intake this thing has. 2.5 to 3.5 trillion gallons of water a year. It is a machine. And who owns it? The dam pumps out 4 billion kilowatt hours a year. Sure. It lights up 1.3 million homes, but 4 billion kilowatt hours a year is enough energy to run an entire country. That's 456 megawatts of raw power. This is enough power to run over 6 CERN colliders. This is not just for Vegas. This is not to run the casino lights. And according to the Bureau,
He said it's enough energy to run 6 CERN colliders. He said there's enough energy to power 6 CERN reactors. That's crazy.
Of reclamation, usbr.gov, this government page documented and telling all of us that there are more than 3 miles of tunnels, all a part of the Hoover Dam's construction site. And this is what they're telling us. The site remains off limits to the public today. 3 miles. Do you think there's more? The Hoover Dam, in my opinion, is splitting dimensions, and they have been doing this for years. And I don't believe that this is the only one in the world. Not even close. Hoover Dam, and possibly
Splitting dimensions, 3 miles that public cannot access. Yeah, that's kind of questionable.
the other dams that we've seen are much more than what we're told. We know technology is being given back to us strategically over time. We all know that there are things that they found in the 1800s that we have never, and we will never see. Thinking energy, frequency.
That of a secret government, accountable to not a single elected official, including apparently the president himself. A shadowy government with its own Air Force, its own Navy, its own fundraising mechanism, and the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself. It is an elitist vision of government that trusts no one, not the people, not the Congress, and not the cabinet. It is a vision of a government operated by persons
That's what we're dealing with now.
convinced they have a monopoly on truth.
I'm saying back to them, like, just trust me. You guys don't understand, right? Like, we've been lied to. Trust me, you'll see what's ahead.
Ice wall,
They're going,
Antarctica.
You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we're just going to come back up around the other side of the globe. You know, they're telling me we're going to hit the Indian Ocean, Australia, right? They were thinking in terms of the global model. But this is where it gets crazy, you know, as they realize I ain't stopping. One of the other pilots says to me, he goes, listen, you land that thing now, we sign an NDA and go home, act like this never happened. But go ahead, continue forward if you must, but just know it's a one-way ticket. You ain't ever coming back.
What did you do?
What I set out to. I could see the wall by this point. There was no turning back. And as I fly over the wall, the other jets behind me just hit wide pivots to turn around, and the pilot radios me one last time. He goes, crazy son of a... Good luck, kid. And I mean, look, I just soar off into no man's land. I'm baffled. I'm seeing land masses that have never been accounted for. The navigational equipment on the jet is no longer working, but I know as long as I stay due.
Yeah, that's crazy, man, because they've been talking a lot about that Antarctica wall and the peace treaty that all the countries got. But one thing I can't understand is we're all fighting, you know, in different countries against each other, but the only place that they don't fight each other is in Antarctica, where all the countries have a peace treaty where they all work together and keep it exclusively for the government and the scientists only, and the public can't even have access. So you're fighting each other at the same time you get along all in one place. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
South, I'll reach Panthea. I'll reach the Dark Continent. And lo and behold, 30 or so hours later, sun goes down and it never comes back up. I start to drop my altitude to get a better view, and there she was. I saw the dark lands. I saw everything that Hemington had spoke of. Look, I landed the jet on a clear landscape, and before I even had a chance to get out, there they were. The Pantheons Hemington spoke of, stepping in slowly. I mean... The
CIA's fake
What
animals.
was that?
In the 1970s, the CIA developed what they called the Insectothopter, which was a drone the size of a dragonfly and hand-painted to look like one. It was kept secret until December 2003, when it was revealed to the public at the CIA Museum, and the project was abandoned because it was too difficult to fly in crosswinds. Another similar project was the AeroVironment Nano Hummingbird, created with specifications given by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. These weren't the only times they used animals or crafted fake animals to spy on their enemies. During the Cold War, they developed a camera so light that it could be carried by pigeons in order to take aerial photos, and they even trained some of these pigeons to drop eavesdropping devices onto window
And they probably
ledges.
got
However,
a booger
despite
camera.
successfully placing some of these
Knowing
devices,
the
no
government.
usable audio was captured from them. They even used fake fish to secretly check water samples for the presence of nuclear runoff or other suspicious substances.
World conspiracy theories. We are now on part 3, tier 6, starting off with the Eye of Africa. So the Eye of Africa, also known as the Richat structure, or just
Look at
the
this,
Eye
man.
of the Sahara, is a roughly 30-mile wide geological formation that kind of looks like a giant eye. Officially, the scientific opinion is that this was thought to be formed possibly from
I never
tectonic
knew
activity
this even
or
existed.
volcanic activity, which people will use this excuse to say, no, there's no way that Atlantis could have existed there, but I think a civilization could have also existed there, but
Definitely a
also be formed
civilization
naturally, personally. So that's the
lived
point of
there
this
before.
one. A lot of people claim that the Eye of the Sahara or the Eye of Africa is the lost city of Atlantis, as it resembles how Atlantis was described by Plato. So Atlantis was described as an empire made up of 10 kingdoms. This empire was said to have a lost city called Atlantis that was the capital. It was said to be made up of concentric circles, 2 of water and 3 of land. And as you can see, the Richat structure, it appears to be exactly that. It even has a ton of salt deposits in the center of where the water would be, which, where does salt come from? What's really interesting that I learned recently is that Plato learned the story of Atlantis because it was passed down through generations from a guy named Solon who actually learned about it in Egypt, which is a lot closer to where this structure would have been. Anyways, a lot of people nowadays hate the idea of Atlantis being real, but I need this. Please, let me have this one. The moon is artificial. This is a fun one. A few reasons why people think the moon
Hollow
is an
moon.
artificial object is because, for one, a lot of people think that the moon is millions of years older than Earth. Also, Earth is the only planet in our solar system that has a moon that is roughly 1/4 its size. So it's way larger than all the other moons compared to their planets. But the third thing, what I find is most strange, is that the moon perfectly covers the sun during a solar eclipse. Do you ever think about that? Like, why does the moon perfectly cover
Yeah,
the sun?
perfectly.
The odds would be astronomical for this to occur naturally. Anyways, people also
it doesn't
point to
leave
how
no
there's a
room.
lot
It
of
perfectly
seismic
covers it.
activity on the moon where they experience earthquakes or moonquakes, and how the moon shakes much longer than the Earth does, even being quoted as ringing like a bell during these moonquakes by Professor Clive Neal, who does geological sciences at the
It did
University
say it
of
was
Notre
ringing
Dame.
like a
Now,
bell.
most people will say that this happens because the moon is so dry, but some people literally think it's hollow by the way it reacts to these moonquakes. So the overall conspiracy theory here is that some people think the moon is either hollow or it somehow was put here by some sort of entities that wanted to study us, and so they moved an artificial satellite into our area to...
Well, guys, as you can see, the world got a lot of crazy different things, and we're just trying to figure out what they are. But man, I tell you, I'm gonna drop some more video. I got a lot of great videos coming up that's gonna knock your socks off, man. I'm talking about crazy rabbit hole, going to conspiracy theories, Antarctica, pyramids, the ORBS going on in the skies, all kind of different things I got, man, coming up. I got a lot of great videos coming up, so I thank you guys for watching. And if you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.